Welcome to the October edition of the Tough Love Arena State of the Game stream. I will be your host tonight. My name is Paul, and I'm one of the co-creators of Tough Love Arena, the hottest browser-based fighting game. And this here is a monthly stream we do where we talk about the state of the game. What did we accomplish last month? What are we planning to do in the upcoming months? Something that players can look forward to. And we also take surveys and do Q&A and user engagement, that kind of crap. So, thank you for joining us. Whether you're live or watching the VOD, and I will just jump into it. So what did we accomplish in the month of September? The big thing was just the matchmaking overhaul. I have been working on this thing for like half a year. I think I started it about half a year ago, and it's been on or off. Like we put it on pause to do some of the balance changes, and there's something major we launched a couple months ago, and I already forgot. So it hasn't been 6 months of like continuous development, but it's been my main focus for at least like a month and a half, and it's just taking a lot of work to get through. But I'm proud to announce that it is finally working. It is finally in production. If you don't know what I'm talking about, it used to be that if you wanted to play Tough Love Arena online, if you wanted to enter a queue, you would have to go into play online, and you enter casual queue, and then you just sit here on this screen and you wait. Now you have the ability. Oh, sorry, anonymous milk. Now you have the ability to do other things. When you're matchmaking, get the ability to re-queue or just stop. And I could be on a totally different screen, and now there's this little indicator down here that says Matchmaker is idle, and I can just click that and get back into the queue. But I'm not going to get into the queue, so I don't have to turn down more people. But it's just a huge quality of life improvement. It's only been live for a couple of days, and I've already gotten a lot of very positive feedback about it. So, thank you for your patience while I was sort of heads down on that. I know development has been slow. This is maybe the longest gap between, like, patches. I'm not sure, maybe when I had mono, like, 2 years ago, that was a bigger gap. But not planning to have it be a month before any patches again. That was just, I didn't want to get distracted. I didn't want to work on anything else until I got that thing done. And now it's done. So, what are we doing now? What's sort of the follow-up? Well, it surfaced some, if anyone caught the deployment stream on Sunday, yesterday, that lasted 3.5 hours, because I hadn't deployed in a month, trying to do it again surfaced some issues with the libraries I've been using. I automate, specifically deploying to Steam. Like, it deploys just fine to the website, and even the desktop version that you can download and run from GitHub. But deploying to Steam, I rely on this open source program someone else wrote, which is just a wrapper for Steam CMD, which is the Steam provided executable like terminal application for submitting builds, and it just all sucks. It just sucks. It's not, well, this is not the open source maintainers' fault. They've been an absolute like lifesaver. It's amazing to be able to use this tool instead of having to always do it manually and from scratch. But I spent hours yesterday reading through issue threads and forum threads and Stack Overflows about how difficult this Steam API is to work with. So that surfaced some deployment issues that I sort of have a band-aid on right now, and I'd love to get a more permanent solution in place, or else it's just more busy work every time I want to deploy. And also what came up during that stream, I forget who it was. I think it was Neza. We were talking about trying to run the game, but on a machine where like the web address is blocked. And I suggested, why don't you just do the desktop version? But you have to install the desktop version if you're playing on Windows. So it's totally within my power to make a portable executable. That is what we do for Steam. It's just doing it with the right options. I think there's issues with auto updating. So these were 2 threads that came up yesterday, but I couldn't get them done in the 3.5 hour stream before I sort of crapped out. So I got the deploy live, putting a pin in them, hoping to revisit them this month. I'm sure there will be miscellaneous issues, typos, bugs, weird edge cases with the matchmaker. I'm very proud of how much testing I did, both on stream and off, and I caught most things, but I expect there'll be a little bit of cleanup. And I would love, now that that's live, I didn't want this to slow it down, but now that that's up, it shouldn't be too much more work to add dual queuing. I just didn't want to rewrite all the old matchmaker to support dual queuing, knowing that I was going to throw it all in the trash to do this new matchmaking thing. So now that this all works, adding dual queuing shouldn't be hard. There's like a quick, easy version, which might work. It might not. And if not, then there's a harder but still doable version. So that's on my roadmap. And also, now that I'm again coming out of the tank, no longer so heads down on the matchmaking change, I would love to revisit some of the balance and design stuff I was looking at before this sort of big project. I know I had a couple of different things on Canary about changes to caber toss, changes to palm, adding like command normals to beef, talking with people about rice and how to make SWAT more interesting. So I can't promise anything yet, and none of this will launch before the Halloween Major, which is in 3 weeks, 2.5 weeks. So you don't have to worry about that, but hopefully I want to spend some time revisiting that, refreshing myself, remembering what I was thinking. Because I think a lot of the ideas, we got to a point where they needed more playtesting, and I was like, I need to finish this matchmaking thing. So would love to go back to some of that. And then the future. That's kind of talking about what we're doing, what I'm working on, but what is going on for the game in general in the future. One is we're going to do a Halloween mode. This is something I really love about the assets, the seasonal assets Amy was able to produce. So we have reskins for all the menus and the characters for Halloween, April Fool's, and birthday, our anniversary, the game's anniversary. So Halloween mode is my favorite because it's the one we can leave up the longest. So I'm planning to launch that probably late Sunday, so this coming Sunday night, and it just means that everything will be skinned Halloween by default. You'll still have access to all the other skins, but it'll give everyone the chance to use the Halloween skins. The tournament will be on the 20th. I would have normally done a later weekend, but I'll be out of town for my brother's wedding, so had to move it up to the 20th. And there will be, you can sign up right now. As per usual, I'll send out a form for skin redemption. There's a bunch of information in the challenge description. And I will probably do a Matcherino, if someone wants to remind me to set one up. And lastly, just a small update, small announcement. Dev stream will be moving to Tuesday night. I have discovered a cool FGC meetup in New York City that I would love to attend, but they meet on Mondays, and I would hate to never be able to attend. So I'm planning to, I think last week, I also did this, I sort of last minute said I'm going to take one off, move it to Tuesday, and I'm just going to do that. So State of the Game will stay on Mondays, just because I've said it in a million places, State of the Game is the first Monday of the month, and even when DevStream changed to Tuesday, Thursday, during the day, all that crap, I still like Monday night for State of the Game. But on every other week, I plan to spend my Mondays attending this thing, getting to know the local scene, hopefully getting some in-person playtesters again for the first time since pre-COVID. And the dev streams will just be on Tuesdays. So look out for that. And that concludes my presentation. That is the state of the game. So now, if anyone in Swiss chat would like to ask me a question, you are free to post it now in chat. If you asked something earlier, please repost it, because I'm not going to scroll back up. And happy to hang out and chat for a little while until the questions dry up. And then we'll... Oh, crap. I'm sorry. I forgot about this because I didn't put a slide in. Let's talk about the survey. So, I used to cut things out, but I was like, I could just show you guys the survey. There aren't names on it. So, still hitting, let's zoom in a little bit. Still hitting what we want on the main graphs. People think the game is fun. People think the game is good for basics. Think it's okay for high level, better than average. Going to play it again. Highly recommend. More so to beginner than experienced, but still some experienced. Noodle is above average, strong, and very fun. Someone posted this clearly about Rice, but interesting point about, yeah, Noodle's whole RPS has changed ever since the throw patch. That was the big thing we released a couple months ago, the throw patch. The throw text. So I'm thinking about that. That's one of the design things to put in the tank is It was not my intention for Noodle to lose the RPS situation. It was just a natural byproduct of the new throw system, but I'm thinking about it. Rice is above average strong, but not super fun to use. This is a specific patch about how to make SWAT more interesting as a raw anti-air. Beef is strong and beef is fun. Mostly just some joke requests and other ones where people are like, I want this, but I understand why you don't do it. Pork, above average strong, but some people who think pork sucks. Very fun. I'm not sure about this one. That might be too strong. And onion is very strong and fun. I thought this comment was interesting. The combo length gets tiring. I'd rather get hit with a shorter combo that does more damage than get comboed uninteractively for 10 seconds. That is definitely a... It's just like a... Sorry. Beginning of that sentence sounds like I'm trying to disregard this comment. This makes me think about the general spectrum. If you think of a spectrum of like how long can a combo be, it's like an average combo and a long combo in different games. And I definitely knew setting out that I didn't want it to be anime game length. Really, really long combos. But I wanted it to be longer than some Street Fighter games where it's just like 2 punches into a Hadoken, and that's basically it. Older games and, you know, without dumping massive meter. Older Street Fighter games, I should definitely specify. Street Fighter 6 is pretty zany. And I definitely made a conscious choice to sort of push that line with the spices, and onion in particular, with Hopkick. So I'm not going to address this just because it's too fundamentally tied to Onion's kit. Even if I want to do this, it's not... It's a change that has a lot of side effects. But it's a good litmus test to have. It's good to hear these sorts of thoughts, just as I generally think about game design for TLA and for future games. It was part of the reason why I undid meat links. If people remember that patch, where meats could close up link heavies into lights. It just made all the combos longer, and that was one of the things I didn't like. So Noodle I'm okay being long because it's specific to corner and requires meter. To me, that feels like the big payoff. That stuff I think is exciting. I think it's more of an issue with Onion because Onion gets the long combo anywhere on screen. Hello, Ben Paste. Ben Paste, I know that name. Are you the person who made Moonatics? Or am I thinking of someone else? Yeah, Ben Paste Moonatics. Awesome. I want to talk to you, Ben, about something, but I should talk about it off stream. So if you hang around a little bit after, I'll message you on Discord. If you're online. If not, we can catch up some other time. Anyways, back to the stream. Awkward thing to have on the YouTube VOD. So, garlic. Garlic is strong. Garlic is fun. We love to see it. Make sneak -3 on block, please. And delete garlic. Make garlic better and delete them. Very interesting. An interesting thought. Nothing I think is super high priority, but good to see that garlic's in a good place. So I look at these results and my main takeaways are just like, okay, who's in trouble? Rice is in trouble because people don't think they're fun. Where is it? This isn't great. And I think that's about it. That's the only thing that like draws my concern. Everyone else I think has a decent spread. And then got some very nice feedback on what keeps you playing TLA and what things you're looking forward to. Lots of stuff about Halloween, a lot of stuff about matchmaking. I saw this. I do want to clarify, if anyone's watching, this won't happen. 2 attack buttons will never be supported. Sorry. Yeah, Tough Love Gone. Hell yeah. So that was it for the survey. Thank you everyone for filling it out. Sorry I didn't give as much lead time as I used to. I was planning to do it during the dev stream on Monday, and then it got moved to Tuesday, and then I forgot for 3 more days. So thank you for the 13 people who did find a chance to fill it out. I'll definitely get more lead time for the next one. And now we will actually start the QA for real this time, and I'll scroll up a little bit because I saw some questions. I think it started with Moshbox asking, "How are you so cool?" Thank you. You get cooler with age. Let me put it that way. And I'm definitely showing my age. Esid says you can queue up for ranked match and then log out, and it'll still search for ranked match. Shows in-game tag when you match. I don't really know how it affects elo or connections. Interesting point, Esid. That makes sense now that you mention it because. Oh, let me do big camera. Because the way the ranked system, the matchmaking system works is you give it information at the start, and then we'll use that information. And in order to start ranked matchmaking, to make sure that you are logged in, I say, hey, ranked matchmaker, here's their account. So even if you log out and log in as someone else, it will continue to log in with a different email. Maybe you have 5 different Smurf accounts. It'll continue to use that first, whatever account you're logged in when you started ranked queue. Now that's not super intuitive. That's probably not ideal. So this is a good catch, and I should just take you out of matchmaking when you log out. But that is why that works that way. Not so much a failure to log out, but more of a fact that the ranked match forms a closure around that state, that log out is not invalidating. Esid says, do you think onion combos are harder enough to be long? This is part of the issue, Esid. Like, it doesn't matter how hard something is. The players will do it eventually. This became very quickly apparent even within just the first few weeks since the game went live. So, and I knew about this, and I knew about this from other games. So you can never really use execution to balance for something major like that. I think execution can have meaning when it's like a small choice. The classic example I always go to that was brought up in a Corey essay that I think is great is like in Street Fighter 4, Ryu does a solar plexus. You can get a super easy link into DP because there's a generous input buffer for special moves, or you can do the harder, much tighter link of attack into DP. You'll get a little bit more damage, not a ton because it's scaled, but if you have the execution, you can go for that optimization. That I think is fine. I think that's perfect. That's a way for people to show just their little extra flex. But execution being the thing that, like, for Onion, the execution barrier is the trip link, right? It's the trip link. And a little bit of muscle memory of doing all the things. But, like, once you either know the trip link and have a 10-second combo, or you don't know the trip link and you have a 2-second combo. So, even if I made it harder, I don't think people would just adapt. People would learn. If it was even possible to make it harder, maybe more spacing specific. But that also then changes it strategically because maybe he can't punish certain things that he used to be able to, and is that correct? The comment about Noodle, no, I like Noodle. I know Noodle's combos are long in the corner, but I think that they're very stylish and cool and fun because they're hard to set up. They take work. They take meter and work. And I know because every time I play offline, I pick Noodle with the plan of I'm going to style on this stranger who's never played Tough Love Arena before by doing the corner combos with Noodle. And I can't, by the time I get to them in the corner, they're half dead. And I can't even do the combo. Or I don't have enough meter or something else. So, like, I'm happy with Noodle's combos. I love Noodle's combos. Noodle is, I'm so proud of that character. They've come such a long way. I think the comment on Noodle, by the way, was on the Rice matchup. Oh, that's interesting. So it wasn't just a general complaint about teleport being bad, but how it's specifically useless in the carb matchup. That is true. That is unfortunate. Thank you for clarifying. Esid asks, would you change... I can't talk. Would you change air limit to make it more of a close neutral tool? I know you talk about making beef neutral more interesting. Um, yeah, I had this whole plan for revisiting. So jump cancels were originally written at a time when any air action, I needed to know exactly how far you would move down, because gravity only applies while you're in air hit stun. Because my game is dumb and simple. It's a very simple, dumb engine for a very simple, dumb game. And any modder knows this. If you move your character up and then you forget to move them down, then they'll be floating in mid. They'll just stand in midair until they get launched, and then they'll find the floor again while they're falling. So to do jump cancels, I needed to know exactly how far the new jump cancel move, the alternate move, needed to fall. So it had to cancel on a very specific frame, which is why you have the holding input, because that's much easier to do executionally. And all this was working backwards of like, okay, it needs to be on a frame because I need to move it as precise amount, so therefore I have to do the hold input. And then that led me to certain designs of like, well, if I have to do the hold put, and if I have to put it at this point in the jump where like it's late enough that you could do it executionally, you could press back fast enough and it wouldn't be hard, but not so. But it'd be nice if I could kind of unify them, because this is kind of like the holding back jump cancel mechanic is super unintuitive in my mind. So it was all these like conditions and all of these constraints built off of this fundamental premise of that it needs to happen on a specific frame. And then I added the patch where you can just do an action until ground. I forget what it was for. Maybe it was April Fool's. Maybe this was necessary for one of the characters' like April Fool's moves or something. But we have that now. That is technology I can use. So now if I could make the cancel timing huge, because I could let you choose when in the jump arc to do the air lemon or when in the jump arc to do the dive kick, then I don't need the hold. But now I need to balance the move differently around, well, if you can do the fireball at any point in the jump arc, is that like potentially too strong? What is the angle and speed of the fireball that would make it fair? So my very long answer to your question is I had an idea, and I think I started a branch on converting all the jump cancels into button press cancels. You jump and then press light or something, and you do that action when you press light. Much more normal, like an actual just like alternative jump attack. And also doesn't have issues with like being crossed up and stuff like that. But if I do that, I definitely need to redesign most of the jump cancels, because a lot of them won't work if you, or would either be like too strong or something else if you could do them at different height, spacing, whatever, different heights. So, yes, asterisk. And my gut reaction is that to make it more fair, I'd make the angle very, very sharp. And focus on the just like slow combo starter. I can't talk. Slow combo starter and parry blow up aspects of the move. So those are my thoughts on that. Hi, Joro. What did I miss? A bunch of stuff. It's okay. You can watch the VOD. Table clarifies, teleport is not useless in the card matchup. You can use teleport at very point blank, true, as a mix-up off specific knockdowns, okay, or if they fuck up. I mean, that's the best case, yes. The oops, no gravity moment, yeah. Easton says, is Caper supposed to be cancelable after the hitbox comes out? It currently is, but you have to delay the cancel. I think so. It was a balance. It got to a point where I needed the startup to be early enough that the move would be good. But I wanted the cancel window to be late enough that you could cancel it without breaking your fingers. And as a result, those two things had to overlap. So that is intentional. Table Rice says, thoughts on Meat's 5HHRC? It's an unskilled starter with good damage off a long-range move that is also very plus on block and moves the meat in. It moves the meat in. That is a good point. Like, I started the game, one of the original design tenets, coming from my frustration of playing other games where, like, you can only combo off lights and it's kind of hard to do, was, like, I wanted to focus on the hit confirming aspect. Like, you have these nice, long, heavy buttons that can turn into more stuff. But I definitely didn't think super seriously at the time about the risk reward and the relative payoff. And the meats are unique because I did think about it somewhat, that it was built in with, you know, Pounce, the second heavy for the carbs and the second heavy for the spices both force airborne, which limits how strong any combo you start with heavy can be, because we don't have restands and there's limited juggles. And meats don't have that limitation. That is true. I don't think they necessarily deserve that. I don't think they need it. But I wouldn't want to just completely break meat loops by making, like, because like an easy fix is just to remove the RC from tackle. You can only RC on the uppercut. So either you HHN and now you have your big aerial combo, or you RC and make it safe. But then, like, I don't think they'd have any rapid combos without, like, micro walking. So there's I think there could be something there, but it's not. There's not any low-hanging fruit. Taylor Rice says, reposting, I feel like spices, especially onion, gain a shit ton of meter thanks to their ability to gain long combos without spending RC, and their long walks mid-combo. Yeah, that's true. Some characters are just better gaining meter than others. That's fine. George says, beef is still the best character after years. Yes. Table says, again, spice meter gain kind of feels like they always have meter for burst or just to save for big starters. Maybe it's fine, but it's super strong. It is strong. It is strong. But it is an advantage, but I don't think it's a disproportionate one. Table says, wouldn't an easy fix be uppercut has a little starter scaling? But the problem is you're not starting with uppercut, right? You're starting with heavy. Uppercut 1 could just introduce more scaling. It could scale faster. But I can't do the same, like, I don't want to do the same scaling penalty on light. I'm complaining about the 5HH frame trap, specifically. I would rather find a different solution, like maybe tackle could be slower. Maybe tackle could be slower, so the frame trap would be harder to do, and you could actually mash out. It needs to travel that distance, but I don't think it needs to be that fast. Heavy does a decent amount of hit stun, so that would be the way at which I'd approach it. I'm very hesitant to have super specific little patches like that, like this thing has a weird property in this specific state. I wouldn't make the buffer any bigger though, Table Race. So you can't just like delay it forever. And so yeah, I would time it such that like at max range you have to do it immediately, and it will combo. And then on block you could DP or teleport out, because heavy does less block stun than hit stun. Paul might add hops kick scaling. Yeah, I have no interest in doing that. I'm fine with the scaling on the lights. I think that's intuitive. That trends with other fighting games, and it's like, oh, they frame trap me or they mash me up close, and now they like get this really powerful combo, as opposed to catching a stray hop kick that needs meter to convert. I'm much happier with that. Taylor asks, after all this time, thoughts on post-tech? I think teching is harder than I wish it was. I think about adding light to tech. And the post-tech could be longer. The animation looked a little awkward during original development when I made it too long. But when I've been playing TLA in the last couple of weeks, especially for this matchmaking testing, Also, can you guys hear that siren? The joys of living in Midtown. New York City, baby! Yeah, seriously. Life in the big city. So, those have been my reactions to throw teching. It's hard to do. It's over too quickly. And these were all things that people told me during beta testing. I think shout outs in particular to Abic, who I think specifically stressed the having more time to react. But there's a certain point where I just wanted to get it out. So I stopped polishing. Table says, light to tech would make some mix-ups worse, such as jump to beat delay techs. I guess, yeah, that depends on character. It'd be good against meats, but yeah, other characters would just get random anti-air. Would you add the RC effect to throw tech? That's an option. I'd have to think about it. I try to be careful about reusing things too much. I think for a while, the throw tech was just rejection. And I kind of liked that because I had the same sort of idea of you're knocking them back. So I was okay with you reusing that animation. Why did I stop doing that? I don't remember. People saying they like the current animation. Thank you. Reject, reuse, improvise. Correct, Ethan. So yeah, these are all good thoughts. Please feel free to come back next Tuesday during dev stream to remind me of them, because I'll have a clean slate and I'll be eager to just start hacking on stuff. But unless anyone else has any last big questions, I think I'll wrap this stream up. So, final call. Joro, okay. 3 last questions. Joro says, Paul, who do you think will win Halloween Major? I think Joro will win Halloween Major. Isid asks, Fang or Aki? I haven't been following. I don't know too much about Aki, but I did see the social media post where she can slither on the ground. So probably Aki just for that. The slither is sick. That's the stuff that fighting games need more of. You need more slither. And Table Rice saying, do you have thoughts on the Rice teleport mix-ups that have been in a while? I don't know specifically what you're talking about, Table. If you want to DM me more information or send me a replay or clip or something, or you're explaining it now after higher knockdown than just 5H, Rice can teleport and B+. Oh yeah, I haven't been watching footage where people were doing it. But I definitely had it in mind that you could always HHH into teleport and have worse Oki, but still have Oki. So glad to see people are starting to use them. Add a slither to onion. Go for it, Articulate, real quick. Had to be in some juggle, they have to be higher. That's cool. So my thoughts on it are that it's cool. I'm just not realizing maybe Artivulate's fourth question was the question, can I ask a fourth question? So we're going to ignore that one. So, thank you again for coming by. VOD will be on YouTube shortly. And thanks for playing. Thank you for your patience with the matchmaking changes. Articulate confirms that they were trolling me. Great, good to know. I'm glad I won't lose sleep over that. Don't forget to sign up for the Halloween Major. I'm putting the link in chat right now. You can also find it on our event page, and I'll also be plugging it in our Twitter and Discord. And, yeah. Dev stream resumes next Tuesday. Next day of the game will be the first Monday of November. See you then.